Let's talk about public key cryptography. When referring to cryptography in most computer references, we're generally talking about public key cryptography. This is where a public key is made available to anyone, and the private key is kept by the owner of both the public key and the private key. Using the public key, information that is shared by the private key or the owner of the private key can be validated or verified. Now, along with this idea of a public key is the use of what's called a digital signature. This is where text or content of some type is signed by the private key of some person, and using the public key, we can say, yes, that content was definitely signed by or validated by the private key. We don't have the private key as regular public users, but we have access to a key that can say, well, the content itself definitely came from this private key that is associated with the public key that we do see. Now, when we start talking about these cryptography functions, one of the things that becomes important is the use of a certificate authority, or CA. The CA is used as a way to validate other keys that come from the certificate authority. So to break it into the use of a browser, a web browser would recognize that a web address starts with an HTTPS encrypted URL. The browser would then ask the server for the public key that is associated with that address. This public key would be signed by a certificate authority. The web browser sends the public key to the browser. The web browser verifies the key of the server with the public key of the CA that was used to sign the key. And if the key is valid, the web browser says that environment is secure and will allow them to, without warning, connect to that website.